Good evening. It is August 13th, and apologize. Been on vacation for a few days, so we're going to get caught up here with a couple of these. Had to get downtime, so don't get that very often. So apologize for being a couple of days behind. Tonight we're going to be reading from Nehemiah 5:14 through 7:73, 1 Corinthians 8:1 through 3, Psalms 33 1 through 2, and is that right? That's not a lot. Oh, 1 through 12. Man, why fix that? Psalms 1 through 12 and Proverbs 28:10. Let me adjust that real quick. I knew that didn't sound right. Why would we be reading two verses? Okay. Every day we'd like to do the Lord's Prayer, so you'll join in with me and greatly appreciate it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Nehemiah 5:14 through 7:73. We're going to have some names again today, so just kind of bear with me. The last part of this one is going to be a little long. Lots of names, lots of fun. If you've been with me since the beginning, Exodus, Leviticus, some Numbers, and Nehemiah, lots of fun. Nehemiah 5:14 through 7:73. From the time King Artaxerxes appointed me, Nehemiah, as their governor in the land of Judah, from the 20th to the 32nd year of his reign, 12 years, neither I nor my brothers used the governor's food allowance. Governors who had preceded me had oppressed the people by taxing them 40 shekels for every silver, about a pound a day of food and wine, while their underlings bullied the people unmercifully. Not out of fear of God, I did none of that. I had work to do. I worked on the wall. All the men were on the job to do the work. We didn't have time to line our own pockets. I fed 150 Jews and officials at my table, in addition to those who showed up from the surrounding nations. 1 ox, 6 choice sheep, and some chickens were prepared for me daily, and every 10 days a large supply of wine was delivered. Even so, I didn't use the food allowance provided for the governor. The people had it hard enough as it was. Remember in my favor, oh my God, everything I do for these people. When Sanballat, Tobiah, Gershom, and the Arab, and the rest of our enemies heard that I had rebuilt the wall and that there were no more breaks in it, even though I hadn't installed the gates, Sanballat and Gershom sent the messages, come and meet with us at Kipparim in the valley of Ono. I knew they were scheming to hurt me, so I sent messengers back with this. I'm not doing a great work. I'm doing a great work. I can't come down. Why should the work come to a standstill just so I can come down to see you? 4 times they sent the message, and 4 times I gave them my answer. The 5th time, same messenger, same message. Sanballat said an unsealed letter with a message. The word is out among the nations. And Geshem said it's true, that you and the Jews are planning to rebel. That's why you are rebuilding the wall. The word is that you want to be king, and that you have appointed prophets to announce in Jerusalem, there is a king in Judah. The king is going to be told all of this. Don't you think we should sit down and have a talk? I sent him this back. There's nothing to what you're saying. You've made it all up. They were trying to intimidate us into quitting. They thought, they'll give up. They'll never finish it. I prayed, give me strength. Then I met secretly with Shemaiah, son of Deliah, the son of Mattabel, at the house. He said, let's meet at the house of God inside the temple. Let's find safety behind locked doors because they're coming to kill you. Yes, coming by night to kill you. I said, what would a man like me run for cover? And why would a man like me use the temple as a hideout? I won't do it. I sensed that God hadn't sent this man, so they called prophecy he spoke to me. So the so-called prophecy he spoke to me was the work of Tobiah and Sanballat. They had hired him. He had been hired to scare me off, trick me, a layman, into desecrating the temple and ruining my good reputation so they could accuse me. Oh my God, don't let Tobiah and Sanballat get by with all the mischief they've done. The same goes for the prophetess Nadia and the other prophets who had been trying to undermine my confidence. The wall was finished on the 25th day of Elul. It had taken 52 days when all our enemies heard the news and all the surrounding nations saw it. Our enemies totally lost their nerve. They knew that God was behind the work. All during this time, eyes are watering, sorry. All this time, letters were going back and forth constantly between the nobles of Judah and Tobiah. Many of the nobles had ties to him because he was the son-in-law of Shechem, son of Aram. and his son Johanan had married the daughter of Meshullam, son of Berkiah. They kept telling me all the good things he did, and then would report back to him anything I would say. And then Tobiah would send letters to intimidate me. After the wall was rebuilt, I had installed the doors and the security guards and the singers, and the Levites were appointed. I put my brother Hananiah along with Hananiah, that's a name, the captain of the citadel, in charge of Jerusalem, because he was an honest man and feared God more than most men. I gave them this order: don't open the gates of Jerusalem until the sun is up, and the gates, the gates while the guards are still on duty. Appoint the guards from the citizens of Jerusalem and assign them to the posts in front of their own homes. The city was large and spacious with only a few people in it, and the houses not yet rebuilt. God put it in my heart to gather the nobles, the officials, and the people in general to be registered. I found the genealogical record of those who were in the first return from exile. This is the record I found. These are the people of the province who returned from the captivity of exile, the ones Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried off captive. They came back to Jerusalem and Judah, each going to his own town. They came back in the company of Zerubbabel, Joshua, Nehemiah, Azariah, Rami, Haman, Mordecai, Belshan, Mispereth, Bigvale, Num, and Benin. The numbers of the men of the people of Israel and the families of origin: Parash 21,172, Sheptath 372, Era 652, Pahath Moab, son of Jeshua of Joab 2,818, Elam 1254, Zatu 845, Zaki 760, Benui 648, Babiah 628, Asgad 2322, Adakim 667, Big Vale 2067, Aden 655. Alter, sons of Hezekiah 98, Hishum 328, Beziah 324, Hireph 112, Gibeon 95, Israelites identified by place of origin: Bethlehem and Neptath 188, Antoth 128, Beth Esmath 42, Kirith Jearim, Kira, and Beeroth 743, Ramah and Geba 621, Michmash 122, Bethel and Ai 123, Nebo, the other one, 52, Elam, the other one, 1254, Hiram 320, Jericho 345, Lod, Hadin, Ona 721, Sania 3930, priestly families: Judea, sons of Jeshua 973, Imer 1052, Pashur 1247, Hiram 1017, Levitical families: Jeshua, son of Kedim, and Hodavin 74, singers: Aslas family, line 148, security guard family: Shalua, Ater, Atlam, Ikab, Hati, and Shobi 138, families of the support staff: Zia, Heshbua, Taboth, Keros, Sia, Payton, Labana, Haga, Hagaba, that's a mouthful, Shalom, Hannah, Geder, Gir, Ria, Rizan, Nakoda, Gazam, Uzzah, Pija, Bisa, Maniam, Uzum, Bikub, Hukub, Aram, Bazul, Mahida, Harsha, Burkos, Sisar, Tima, Nazia, Haptith, families of Solomon's servants: Sodia, Sapira, Perida, Jala, Darkon, Gildan, Sheptath, Hitil, Pokreth, Hezabim, Amon. The temple support staff and the Solomon servants added up to 329. These are those who came from Telmath and Terah Harsha, Kerub, Adon, and Emer. They weren't able to prove their ancestry, whether they were true Israelites or not. The sons of Deliah, Tobiah, and Nakoda 642, likewise with the priestly families: the sons of Hobiah, Hakos, and Brasilia, who had married a daughter of Brasilia and Gileadet, and took their name. They looked high and low for the family records but couldn't find them, and so they were barred from priestly work as ritually unclean. The governor ruled that they could not eat from the holy food until a priest could determine their status by using the Urim Thummim. The total count of the congregation was 42,360. That did not include the male or female slaves, who numbered 7,337. There were also 245 males and female singers, and there were 736 horses, 245 mules, 435 camels, and 7,220 donkeys. Some of the heads of the families made voluntary offerings for the work. The governor made a gift of the treasury of 1,000 darshams of gold, about 19 pounds, darshams of gold, about 19 pounds, 50 bowls, and 530 garments for the priests. Some of the heads of the families made gifts to the treasury of the work. It came from 20,000 darshams of gold and 2,200 minas of silver, about 1 1/3 tons. Gifts from the rest of the people totaled 20,000 darshams of gold, about 375 pounds, 2,000 minas of silver, and 67 garments to the priests. The priests and the Levites, security guards, singers, and temple support staff, along with some others, and the rest of the people of Israel all found a place to live in their own towns. Breakdown of Nehemiah 5:14 through 7:73. Don't come down. Nehemiah shows us what godly leadership looks like. Even though he was the governor, he refused to take advantage of the people or use his position for personal gain. He served them with integrity. Then opposition came. His enemies tried, fear, deception, rumors, distractions to get him to stop rebuilding. Nehemiah's response was powerful. I am doing a great work and cannot come down. And because he refused to quit, the wall was completed in 52 days. The lesson: when God gives you an assignment, expect distractions. Not every invitation deserves your attention. Stay on the wall, protect your focus, lead with integrity, finish what God gave you to build. 1 Corinthians 8:1 through 13. 1 Corinthians 8:1 through 13. The question keeps coming up regarding meat that has been offered up as an idol. Should you attend meals where such meat is served or not? We sometimes tend to think we know all we need to know to answer these kinds of questions. But sometimes our humble hearts can help us more than our proud minds. We never really know enough until we recognize that God alone knows it all. Some people say, quite rightly, that idols have no actual existence, that there's nothing to them, and there is no God other than our God. That no matter how many of these so-called gods are named and worshipped, they still don't add up to anything but a tall story. They say again, quite rightly, that there is only one God the Father, that everything comes from him, and he wants us to live for him. Also, they say that there is only one Master, Jesus the Messiah, that everything is for his sake, including us. Yes, it's true. In street logic, then nothing happened to the meat when it was offered up to an idol. It's just like any other meat. I know that, and you know that, but knowing isn't everything. If it becomes everything, some people end up as know-it-alls who treat others as know-nothings. Real knowledge isn't that intensive. We need to be sensitive to the fact that we are not all the same level of understanding in this. Some of you have spent the entire lives eating idol meat and are sure that there's nothing bad in the meat, that then becomes something bad inside of you. An imagination of conscious shaped under those conditions isn't going to change overnight. But unfortunately, God doesn't grade us on our diet. We're neither commended when we clean our plate, nor reprimanded when we just can't stomach it. But God does take care when you use freedom carelessly in a way that leads to a fellow believer still vulnerable to those old associations to be thrown off track. For instance, say you flaunt your freedom by going to a banquet thrown in honor of idols. When the main course is meat sacrificed to idols, isn't that great danger if someone's still struggling over the issue? Someone who looks up to you and knowledge and mature sees that you're going into the banquet. The danger is that he will become terribly confused, maybe even to the point of getting mixed up in himself in what his conscience tells him is wrong. Christ gave up his life for the person. Wouldn't you at least be willing to give up going to dinner for him? Because, as you say, it doesn't really make any difference. But it does make a difference if you hurt your friend terribly, risking his eternal ruin. When you hurt your friend, you hurt Christ. A free meal here and there isn't worth it at the cost of even one of those weak ones. So never go to these idol-tainted meals if there are any chances if you will trip up one of your brothers or sisters. Wow, that was deep. Break down 1 Corinthians 8:1 through 3. Knowledge must produce love. Paul warns that knowledge can become a source of pride. You can know the Bible, have the answers, and understand theology. But if your knowledge makes you arrogant, you're missing the point. Love builds people up. God isn't looking for merely God isn't looking merely for people who know about him. He wants people who know him and demonstrate the relationship through love and humility. The lesson is don't use what you know to prove you're smarter than somebody else. Use what you know to serve them. Psalms 33, 1 through 12. Good people cheer God, right living people sound best when praising. Use guitars to reinforce your hallelujahs. Play your praise as on a grand piano. Compose your own new song to him. Give him a trumpet fanfare. For God's word is solid to the core. Everything he makes is sound inside and out. He loves it when everything fits. When his world is a plumb line true, earth is drenched in God's affectionate satisfaction. The skies were made by God's command. He breathed the word and stars popped out. He scoped sea into his jug, put ocean in his keg. Earth creatures bow before God, world dwellers down on your knees. Here's why. He spoke and there it was, in place, the moment he said so. God takes the wind out of Babel pretense. He shoots down the world's power schemes. God's plan for the world stands up. All his designs are made to last. Excuse me. Blessed is the country with God for God. Blessed are the people who put in his will. The breakdown of Psalms 33, 1 through 12. Blessed is the nation whose God is in the Lord. The passage is called to rejoice, worship, and trust God. His word is powerful, his character is righteous, and his plan cannot be defeated. Verse 10 and 11 remind us the human plans can fail, but the plans of the Lord stand forever. And verse 12 gives us a powerful truth. Blessed is the nation whose God is in the Lord. Don't put your ultimate confidence in governments, economies, people, or circumstances. Put your confidence in the God whose plans cannot be overruled. Proverbs, one second. Proverbs 28, 8 through 21, 8 through 10. Mixed motives twist life into tangles. Pure motives take you straight down the road. Better to live alone in a tumble-down shack than share a mansion with a nagging spouse. I was going to say, I used to do that. Wicked souls love to make trouble. They feel nothing for friends and neighbors. The breakdown of Proverbs 28, 1 through 10. The heart reveals the person. Solomon contrasts the crooked path of the guilty with the upright path of the righteous. He also warns about the destructive nature of conflict and the desire of someone who has embraced wickedness. The bigger principle is your character eventually reveals your heart. If you cannot control appearances for a while, but what is happening inside you eventually influences your words, decisions, relationships, and directions. The lesson: don't just work on looking right on the outside. Let God transform what's happening on the inside. No one told you today I love you and I appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow. It'll be August 14th. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a good day. See you.